Greetings, YouTube math family. Or cult. Whatever you guys want to call this, I'm cool with it. Today we have a very interesting integral, and I know what you're thinking. This is not the integral I showed you guys in the thumbnail. Fear not, you have not been scammed. We will get to those integrals, but in a short while. We're going to talk about this general case first. We have the integral from 0 to infinity of x to the s divided by x to the 4th power plus x squared plus 1. Now, for convergence purposes, we need the real part of the s parameter here to be less than 3. And we have a quartic polynomial in the denominator. How exactly do we deal with that? Well, in this case, we could write it as the integral from 0 to infinity of x to the s divided by x to the 4th power plus 2x squared plus 1 minus x squared dx. Yep, that's perfectly valid. And the benefit of that is now this thing here is a perfect square. It's the square of x squared plus 1. So that means we now have the integral from 0 to infinity of x to the s divided by x squared plus 1 whole thing squared minus x squared dx. Now, of course, we can invoke that classic a squared minus b squared identity. So we have the integral from 0 to infinity of x to the s divided by x squared plus x plus 1 times x squared minus x plus 1 dx. And now it looks like we need a partial fraction decomposition, which would be kind of boring, so we might as well work our way around it to get that partial fraction decomposition. And I can do that by borrowing an x from here and writing it as x to the s minus 1 times x. The benefit of that is now I have the integral from 0 to infinity of x to the s minus 1 times x divided by one factor being x squared plus x plus 1 and the other being x squared minus x plus 1. And I can expand this x term in the numerator to mimic the two factors downstairs. How exactly am I going to do that? Well, I have the integral from 0 to infinity of x to the s minus 1 times one factor, that's x squared plus x plus 1, minus the other factor, that's x squared minus x plus 1. And of course, this would result in 2 times x, which we can balance out using a factor of 1/2 outside, which is pretty cool. So now, in the next step, after I write out these terms in the denominator, I can invoke the linearity of the integration operator and get 1/2 times a bunch of stuff. In fact, I have two integrals now. We have the integral from 0 to infinity of x to the s minus 1 times the first factor canceling out. So downstairs we just have x squared minus x plus 1 dx. Then we have a negative sign, integral 0 to infinity, x to the s minus 1, the other factor canceling out now. And we have x squared plus x plus 1 dx. Okay, cool. Now what? Well, we could expand using a factor of, here we could use a 1 plus x factor, and here we could use a 1 minus x factor. That would be quite useful indeed, because that means we now have 1/2 times the integral from 0 to infinity of x to the s minus 1 plus x to the s, and downstairs we would get 1 plus x cubed. And then we have minus 1/2 integral 0 to infinity of x to the s minus 1 minus x to the s divided by, in this case, 1 minus x cubed dx. We're now in a position to use a couple of really cool integration results that I've derived in a previous video, link in the description below, of course. The first is the integral from 0 to infinity of x to the s minus 1 divided by 1 plus x to the k dx. This thing results in pi by k times the cosecant of pi s by k. And the other is the principal value of the integral from 0 to infinity of x to the s minus 1 divided by 1 minus x to the k dx. That thing equals pi by k times the cotangent this time of pi s by k. And of course, in our case, we have k being equal to 3. Okay, cool. So let me just invoke these two results now. First, I need a clear sight of the actual integration problem. And this implies that I of s equals 1/2 is factored out But of course, we also have pi by 3 being factored out, so we're actually having pi by 6 outside here, times a bunch of stuff. First, we have the integral from 0 to infinity of x to the s minus 1 divided by 1 plus x cubed. And of course, I'm making use of the linearity of the integration operator for all of these cases. We first have the cosecant of pi s by k plus the cosecant of pi by... Wait, it's pi by 3, terribly sorry about that. Pi by 3 plus pi s by 3. And then we have a negative sign here, so we have the cotangent of, again, pi s by 3. Then the two negatives canceling out, leaving us with a positive sign. Terribly sorry about that. Slightly better. And we have the cotangent of pi by 3 plus pi s by 3. Okay, cool. This is quite nice. And now let me collect together the pi s by 3 terms, as in this cosecant and this cotangent term, and write everything in terms of sines and cosines. We know that sine is cosecant is 1 over sine, and cotangent is cosine by sine. So we have, again, pi by 6 times, first up we'll have 1 minus the cosine of, what exactly, that's pi s by 3, divided by the sine of pi s by 3, okay. Plus we also have 1 plus the cosine of pi by 3 plus pi s by 3, divided by the sine of pi by 3 plus pi s by 3. And of course, there's an even nicer way to write all of this by using the double angle or half angle formulae, whatever you want to call them. They're equivalent anyway when we're trying to, replace 1 minus cosine and 1 plus cosine. You get what I'm trying to say, right? What I'm trying to say is we have I of s now equal to pi by 6 again, and 1 minus cosine is, that was horrible, 1 minus cosine is, of course, 2 times sine square of half the angle. So we have 2 sine square pi s by 6 divided by sine in the denominator, again being expanded using the double angle formula. So we have 2 sine pi s by 6 times the cosine of pi s by 6. Everything is looking good because we have some cancellation. The 2's go away. 1 sine term goes away. Then we have 1 plus cosine is, of course, 2 times the squared cosine of, again, half the angle. So we have pi by 6 plus pi s by 6 divided by, again, 2 times sine of pi by 6 plus pi s by 6. I need some writing space, so I'm just going to take this over there. Much better. Times the sine, no wait, now we need the cosine of pi by 6 plus pi s by 6. Okay, cool. Again, some nice cancellation taking place, this time the cosine going away. And all of this implies that I of s equals pi by 6 times, what do we have left? Sine over cosine is tangent, so we have tangent of pi s by 6. And we also have the cotangent of pi by 6 plus pi s by 6, which is extremely cool, no doubt, but we're not done just yet. I still have to show you the result for those really cool integrals in the thumbnail. But before we get to that bit, there's still something else. I'd like to revise my initial claim about the real part of s being only less than 3. Because even the case of s equal to -1 wouldn't work, because in that case we have the cotangent term being undefined. So without giving it much thought, we might as well just restrict the real part of s to be between -1 and 3. Yeah, that should work for our case. And by our case, I mean the case we're interested in is s being equal to I. That is the real part of s being equal to 0. That is quite nice because in that case we have I of I being the integral from 0 to infinity of x to the I divided by x to the 4th power plus x squared plus 1 dx. And what is about x to the I? Well, x to the I is e to the I times log x, which means we have cosine log x plus I times sine log x by Euler's beautiful formula. So the real part would be the cosine integral. Let me just write this. Real part of I is the integral from 0 to infinity of cosine log x divided by x to the 4th power plus x squared plus 1 dx. And the imaginary part of I is in fact the integral from 0 to infinity of sine of log x, terribly sorry about that, sine log x divided by x to the 4th power plus x squared plus 1 dx. But wait a minute, we know exactly what I of s results in, so all we have to do is plug in I into the result in green and then separate the real and imaginary parts. And I'll leave that as a bit of an exercise to you, the viewer. It's nothing difficult, it's just some complex number algebra, which is going to be pretty cool, so I hope you guys have fun. And I'm just going to write out the results for you to verify later. We have the integral from 0 to infinity of cosine log x divided by x to the 4th power plus x squared plus 1 dx equal to, let me see, we have pi divided by 2 times root 3 times 1 by cosh squared pi by 6 plus 3 times sinh squared pi by 6. And then we have the sine integral, that's the imaginary part. We have integral sine x, sine of log x, that is, divided by x to the 4th power plus x squared plus 1 dx. And this thing here equals negative pi by 2 times the hyperbolic tangent of pi by 6 divided by cosh squared pi by 6 plus, again, 3 times sinh squared pi by 6. These are two incredible looking results. They look absolutely gorgeous. They look fitting for such awesome integrals. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. More importantly, I hope you learned something from the video. Do remember to drop me a follow on Instagram, and in case you like the effort I'm putting out, in case you feel like I'm doing some kind of a good job, do consider supporting me on Patreon. All links in the description box. And of course, you can support me further by just liking, sharing, commenting, whatever. Thank you. See you next time.